Do you ever sympathy upvote someone? No, but I upvote to correct injustices. Reddit has this way of shooting the messenger. A correct but painful fact will often get downvoted. I have to do my part to correct that. Yes, especially when they are at zero or the negatives without deserving it. If a comment makes me even slightly stop thumb scrolling, then it's got my attention somehow and deserves a vote. I do all the time, usually more out of confusion than sympathy. It'll be like an op asking a question that falls well within the sub, but instead of anyone giving help they just downvote and occasionally leave mean comments. This also happens regularly with subs that are focused on one TV show or band. If someone doesn't know every single detail about that, the members are usually really mean and will downvote and scold then for not being as big a fan as they are. It's bizarre behavior tbh. It takes just as much energy to inform the person of something as it does to talk down on them, yet I see it regularly, and by a large amount of members. Not often, but sometimes I'll see a comment that's downvoted for seemingly no reason, so I'll give them an upvote. Yes, you. Right now. I'll have sympathy upvote if I'm having a good faith debate with someone and people are all downvoting my opponent. Downvotes aren't used fairly in Reddit and are often unhelpful to genuine conversations. Frequently, especially if they are getting buried in downvotes just for trying to explain someone else's controversial take on something. Of course, if someone has put some care and effort into their comment, then it deserves acknowledgement, even if it's submerged in a sea of upvoted memes. Absolutely. If it looks like someone is being downvoted simply for an unpopular opinion, I'll upvote out of spite of even if I disagree with them. My criteria are usually along the lines of, does this add to the conversation? If the answer is yes, I upvote. Even if I don't agree with their conclusion, I care that they put thought into their response and I reward honesty. I do if they are right about something, but the hive mind didn't like what they had to say for whatever reason, or if they are getting dogpiled for some inexplicable reason. The interesting thing is that you can sometimes turn it around for people if you draw attention to it in a reply. I don't know why the OP is being downvoted when they are right, followed by some link that supports what they just said. A lot of people just follow the herd when it comes to upvotes downvotes, and once you swing it in the other direction, that herd mentality takes over again, and they get 200 upvotes or whatever. Not that karma matters. Sometimes I upvote comments deep in the negatives that aren't being intentionally malicious out of pity. All the time, I'll even scroll comments and upvote people who were downvoted into oblivion by opinion zealot assholes. All the time. Sometimes I'll see someone who did nothing wrong and is just downvoted cause people have the more popular opinion. I'll upvote most interactions, even ones that disagree with me, as long as they try to make a point. Yeah, it costs me nothing to be nice and it could mean the world to them. Bonus points if it's educational. I do. I just did. Yes, especially if I read it and hope that more people will see the comment or post. Yes, sometimes I see people post their art, tattoo or something they bought, etc. and it has few upvotes, so I give mine and leave a comment. Yeah, it doesn't even have to be something that good or deep or funny. If I somewhat agree with it, or I find it a bit interesting, or leaves me thinking at least a few seconds, or at least makes me smile, it gets an upvote. Always, especially if I wrote the post, but I don't find anything valuable to say in response. I wish there was a thanks for answering button. Like, I read it, it wasn't a waste of your time. I will now. Constantly. It cost me nothing to be nice to somebody, as long as they aren't being an asshat. Not for sympathy, but I do for empathy.